Hi, my name is Emily Cronin, and I work at the Science Museum in London, part of the Science Museum Group. And I'm here to talk about sustainable touring exhibitions, our current practices at the Science Museum Group. This is for the ISSM conference that's taking place through the 4th through the 6th of November 2020. So I would first like to start out with the touring exhibitions at the Science Museum Group. So we're actually a very relatively new department at the Science Museum. We first started with touring exhibitions when we toured our exhibition Collider in 2013. And just a little bit about our touring exhibitions, but we typically have a 5-year run for our tours for our turnkey exhibitions. And our turnkey exhibitions are large-scale touring exhibitions that usually contain our objects and all the set works and audiovisual, basically a huge package that goes with these touring exhibitions. And these are huge, big blockbuster exhibitions that will run for a 5-year tour, and they will start out at one of our sites, usually the Science Museum in London, and then from there they will tour to our partners. So far, our touring exhibitions have reached over 2 million visitors outside of the Science Museum, which is really incredible and something that we're incredibly proud about. They have also toured to over 40 countries, and this is not just our turnkey exhibitions, this also includes our smaller exhibitions, which I'll go into a bit further into the presentation. And what is great about our touring exhibitions is actually that they have a lower carbon footprint than usual temporary exhibitions. And this is because we create it just like a temporary exhibition, but then they tour, and essentially they're recycled to each venue as they tour around the world and to each partner. Our following slide. So I'd like to speak more about our current sustainability model at the Science Museum Group. So part of this model is that we have a group exhibition strategy that we've created. In the last few years, we now have a dedicated group sustainability partner that is dedicated to focusing on the sustainability strategy and promoting this group-wide at our museums. So this person solely focuses on this, but also involves everyone else at the Science Museum Group as well. And what this means with sustainability considerations for our touring exhibitions. So this thinks about what kind of materials we can use that can be sustainable and that they can be recycled. Potential for recycling touring exhibitions, so thinking about which exhibitions, not just touring exhibitions, maybe other exhibitions that can be recycled throughout our sites, or maybe to other museums that would be interested in taking elements of our exhibitions. And also end-of-life recycling, so thinking about when an exhibition comes to an end, not just stopping there, thinking about what can actually be recycled. Can we use these elements across our sites? Maybe if there's an exhibit that one of our sites would like to use permanently, or again, maybe we can give this to another museum that would appreciate it. And also thinking about third parties. So if there's elements of the touring exhibition or exhibition that can be recycled from our third parties, so say, for example, our tour operators with using crates, maybe they could use the crates and they can repurpose that and use it for their own purposes. So taking a crate and then using it for their own exhibitions. And in this image also is the Soyuz capsule, and this is just an example of what we've done with Soyuz. So Soyuz is a permanent feature of our collection, and what we've done recently is actually, this was part of a national tour. So it started at the Science Museum, and then it went to a number of venues across the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland. So this is just an example of how we've used sustainability, and Soyuz is an example of this. So how can we increase sustainability in touring exhibitions? Well, we have a model that is great on sustainability, and this is actually our blueprint pack exhibitions. So I mentioned before that we have turnkey exhibitions, which is our blockbuster exhibitions, but we also have another exhibition that's called our blueprint pack exhibition. And what this is it's a digital package that's based on our original exhibition that we had at one of our sites. So our exhibition team will create this exhibition that will be part of our temporary feature. So, for example, we had superbugs, which was recently at the Science Museum, and this has toured all over the world. And I'll get back to superbugs because this has been such a great example of a blueprint pack model and how this can be a great way of promoting sustainability in organizations. And just below superbugs is 3D printing, which was one of our first blueprint pack exhibitions, which also has done really well. But just going back on what these exhibitions are, so they're our original exhibition that we created to be a digital package. So there is nothing physical that comes in these exhibitions at all. They contain our content and everything that goes into that, so that the hiring partner could then use our content and then create their own exhibition. So what we have is there's no transport involved in this, so there's no carbon footprint with in that regard. And also the hiring institutions that choose to partner with us on these projects, they can choose their own materials. So, and they can also choose however small or big they want. So if they wish to only have a small exhibition and use only a part of the content, then that's something that they can choose. And also, as I mentioned, there's nothing physical that comes with these exhibitions. And so our partners can decide which objects can go in them. So that can come from their own collections, which requires, again, this promotes sustainability with no transport. And also, because the content is, you can choose the content, you can also choose the gallery size. And as I mentioned earlier, these can be small or big sizes. So with collections, blueprint pack exhibitions do not contain any physical objects. So you can see in these two images here that these are our two blueprint pack exhibitions that we created. And these are objects coming from our own collections. And also a few of them were also lended from different loans. So blueprint pack exhibitions are also a great way of connecting with other partners and promoting partnership in that sense as well. And just going back on sustainability, because this limits the actual physical movement of what usual touring exhibitions involve. This decreases transport and carbon emission and promotes sustainability again. And what I like as well, which is amazing about blueprint pack exhibitions, is because they're all in a link and very, very easy. They're digital, so they're very easy to collaborate globally because this limits transport costs and those kind of issues. So we, as the Science Museum Group, have been able to collaborate and partner with many, many institutions around the world, including China, South Korea, the US, Argentina, Mexico, Russia, and even in our own home country, the UK. So this is something that we're incredibly proud about. That is something that is, and part of our values and vision is always to collaborate internationally with our partners. And we've also, that also increases our reach and our, and also promoting STEM education, which of course that is foundation of Science Museum Group. So just going to the next slide then. And I wanted to, of course, bring up how our Blueprint PEC exhibitions have gone to South Korea, and that we've been able to collaborate with the National Science Museum of Korea in Daejeon. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But this has been just an amazing example of collaboration and how superbugs have been able to essentially be recycled in a few with a few partners in South Korea. So last year we collaborated with Pfizer Korea, which is the large pharmaceutical company, and they wished to bring superbugs over for one of their events. And what they did was create their own exhibition, and then they held it in a gallery in Seoul. But during this time, we also got in touch with the National Science Museum of Korea to ask if they would also be interested in this, this project, which they fortunately were, and they were able to exhibit this, this exhibition as well. And we're very excited that superbugs will then, after National Science Museum, will be then going to the Busan National Science Museum, which is really exciting for us, and also just shows how this type of model is a really good way of recycling content, but being able to show it in many different places and promote collaboration. So very excited for this one. Thank you. And coming towards the end, we have the future sustainability in museums. So, you know, sustainability is increasingly ever important, and this is something that we're continuously developing on, and there's always room for improvement. So we're always looking at it and how we can change and always improve at the Science Museum Group and sustainability. We're always open to new concepts and new designs, and really further internalizing the message of sustainability, advances in recycling and repurposing more materials, and really committing to sustainability objectives. And this image is just of our latest turnkey, the sun living with our star. And I just wanted to note on some other approaches that can increase sustainability and institutions, is that you can work, there's a few other ways that you can increase sustainability, and that's including working with contractors. So say if, as many institutions do, they produce tenders, and within these tender documents, you can ensure that you can include that you need your contractors to be committed to sustainability. So say at the end of a project, there needs to be ensurement that, say, the materials are recycled towards the end, or for example, this is the Hive, which is now at the Kew Gardens in London, but it was the UK Pavilion at the 2015 Milan Expo. So this this pavilion, this was a sustainability project towards the end. So now it's a permanent feature at Kew Gardens, which I think is a really brilliant way of promoting sustainability and also prolonging the enjoyment of something such as this. So not just a temporary feature, this is now a permanent example that you can go see and enjoy still. And so these are called legacy projects. And that is something that I think is, you can make permanent, transform it to become something from temporary to permanent now. And it's essentially recycling, which is what we want. So coming to the last slide is actually our next blueprint pack, which is about sustainability, and it's about carbon capture. So this blueprint pack exhibition will teach audiences about the latest technology that will help mitigate the impact of climate change by capturing carbon from the atmosphere. So again, a really great way of promoting sustainability and teaching this to audiences around the world. And this exhibition will be opening at the Science Museum in London in April 2021. And then from then it will be able to tour. And I would just like to say thank you so much for joining me for my presentation, and I hope you have a great day.